Hi guys. So I just finished going over 3.6. So I'm going to flip it around here to show you what's going to be going on next. All right, so we just did 3.6. Now the next part is the mid-chapter review. I am not going to be doing this right now. I'll probably do it more toward the back to make this go faster. I always kind of do this along with um, the chapter review at the end. So I may skip this all together and then just do it all at the end. There again should probably be no test. We just don't have time to do tests right now. And I'll probably do something of like a test later on in the year, but not right now. So we are going to skip the mid-chapter review. We might come back to it um, at the end of this chapter with the chapter review. Um, I am going to skip 3.7 because it is estimation. So now I'm going to be going to 3.8, and this is where we're going to be. Now we're going to start moving away from the quick pictures now. I'm going to do one last quick picture, and then we're just going to do the normal addition like this. So I'm just letting you know that after I show you this last quick picture with addition of decimals, then we're going to kind of go away from it. So then there will be no more for you to show on the rest of this lesson. All right, so Henry recorded the amount of rain that fell during 2 hours. In the first hour, he measured 2 and 3,500 centimeters of rain. In the second hour, he measured 1 and 8,200 centimeters of rain. Henry estimated that about 4 centimeters of rain fell in 2 hours. What is the total amount of rain that fell? All right, so and then it says, is the estimation reasonable? I'm not going to worry about the estimation part of it. However, I am going to talk about um, if he was correct and actually finding the total amount of rain that fell. So we have to add these two numbers to find out how much rain fell altogether. So in order to do that, I am first going to show this up here, but I am going to do a quick picture and follow along with the quick picture and this one more time. So the first part is 2 and 3,500ths. So that means 2 wholes, 3 longs, and 5 hundredths. So that's showing 2 and 3,500 hundredths. Then they're saying that now we are going to add to this another 1 whole and 82 hundredths. So now I got to go and remember we're adding this. So I got to add another 1 whole and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 2 more hundredths. All right, so now they want us to add this. Now, like I said before, make sure you bring the decimal down first, and then we just simply go along with our picture as we are adding it. We will be doing it with our picture. So we have 5, and we add 2 more. What is that going to come out to be? It is going to come out to be 7. So that is not enough to regroup and make another long. So it is just simply 7. Then this one, we have 8 plus 3 more. Now that comes out to be 11, which remember, you only need 10 of these make up another whole. So we have more than enough than 10. So what I'm going to take to those 10, I'm going to take 10 of those, and I'm going to regroup them as another whole. So again, that is why after you're done, you only have 1 left over. And then the other whole goes over to the next side. Now, if you look, there is a total of 2 plus another 2, which is 4. So therefore, my answer to this is 4 and 17 hundredths. Now, if you want to go there, was 4 and 1700ths close to 4? Yes, it is. So, I mean, he was close as well. You could have talked about that. But again, estimation is not a big deal on the test. That is more, that is not really a 5th grade standard. All right, so now I'm going to go over to the next one here. It says, now we're going to talk about equivalent decimals. When adding decimals, you can use equivalent decimals to help keep the numbers aligned in each place. So write zeros to the right of the last digit as needed as placeholders. So that the add-ins have the same number of decimal places. So what they're trying to say here is just quickly line them up again. So don't worry about the estimation. That's why I took that out. So if you take the thing here and you line up the decimals, what they did is that this had 1 number after the decimal and this one had 2. So they put a placeholder of a 0. So you are still allowed to do that. And they want you to do that. So bring down your decimal and then we just add like normal. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 4 is 11. So then we carry it on over. Then we have 3 plus 0 plus 1, which is 4, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So your answer is 34 and 16 hundredths. Okay, so then we go on to the next one. And now I'm going to go to the very next one. And now, again, the first thing that I want all my students to do is to make sure that they first bring down the decimal. So they said to first estimate. Remember, we don't have to. I mean, if you want to, you may certainly do so. But I do definitely want you to find the sum. So the sum is just the answer to an addition problem. So you bring down the decimal first. Then 5 plus 6 is 11. So carry your 1. Then that is 3 plus 4 is 7. Then this one, again, bring down the decimal. Then you start over here as if it was just a normal addition problem. So 5 plus 3 is 8. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry your 1. Now you have 9 plus 6 more is 15. So your answer is 15 and 18 hundredths. Next one here. Again, the first step I want you all to do is make sure you bring down that decimal, because if you don't do that, I have a lot of students that forget the decimals. So that's why I always make that the first thing. Whenever you're adding or subtracting decimals, you must line up the decimal and always bring it down first before you add or subtract anything. So 3 plus 9 is 12. Carry your 1. Then 1 plus 8 is 9. And then 7 plus 2 is 9. So the answer is 9 and 92 hundredths. Okay, next one. I'm going to, again, in this case, I have to line up the decimals. So again, if you are confused about lining up the decimals, make sure that the decimals are right underneath each other. So this is what it's going to look like. Make sure you bring down that decimal too at the end. All right, then before the decimal, you just write the numbers. So this was a 3 before the decimal, and right after is an 8. Well, in this case, there is 2 numbers after the decimal, and there's only 1 here. So what could you do? You could put a placeholder of a 0 there, and then we add. So again, bring down your decimal first. Then 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry your 1. This is 7 plus 3 is 10. So your answer is 10 and 14 hundredths. All right, now I want you to try number 5 on your own. So please pause this and try this one on your own. All right, so you should have paused it. And just to do this very quickly, you should have lined up the decimals. And then you would have saw that this needed to be a whole place value. Bring down your decimal. That would have been a 3. 12, carry your 1. That would have been 6 plus 2 is 8. So your answer would have been 8 and 23 hundredths. All right, next. It just says find the sum. Remember, the sum means answer to an addition problem. All right, so in this case, what they're telling us is they are giving us the word form of a number, and then we have to add them together. So in order to do this, we have to know how to write this in Word. Read the words and put them into standard form, which is your regular normal number. So the first part said 7 and. Well, remember, and means a decimal. And then you write 25. So how do you write 25? Is 25. And then they're saying that that last digit better be in the hundredths place. In this case, if I find the ones and I add on zeros underneath, yep, that 5 is in the hundredths. So therefore, this is the correct number. I'm going to put that down here. And now we have to add it to 9 and 4/10. Okay, so 9 and means decimal. And then the 4. So how do we write a 4? A 4. And it better be in the tenths place. So let's check and see if it is. Yes, the 4 is in the tenths. So this is the number they want us to add it to. However, there is no number here, so I'm going to put in a placeholder. Make sure you bring down the decimal. That would be a 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 9 plus 7 is 16. So your answer is 16 and 65 hundredths. Okay, next. They're giving us another problem. It says 12 and. Well, 12 is 1, 2. And means decimal. And then it says an 8 has to be in the hundredths. All right, so remember, how do we write 8? We write 8 like this. However, it needs to be in the hundredths. Now we have to check that. Remember, the ones place is always right before the decimal. So here is my 1. So then if I look, this is saying the 8 is in the tens place, and I need it in the hundredths. So in this case, that means I need to make another 0, and now that's in the hundredths. So therefore, there's nothing in the tenths, so I have to make a 0 there as a placeholder. So therefore, this is truly saying 12 and 8 hundredths. Added to 4 and then it says 35 hundredths. Well, let's see if that 5 is in the hundredths. So here's my ones, add on 0. Yep, the 5 is in my hundredths place. So therefore, I'm going to line up the decimals. And now I can add. If you want to put a placeholder here, you may certainly do so. That is fine. All right, so, but that is not necessary. A lot of people don't before the decimal. They always do it after the decimal. So it doesn't really matter. All right, so bring down your decimal. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry your 1. 3 plus 1 more is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then this is 1. So therefore, your answer is 16 and 43 hundredths. All right, next thing. Again, you would have to write out the number. This is saying 19 and. How you make 19 is like this. And means a decimal. And then it's saying the 7 needs to be in the tenths. So I'm just going to write out 7. And then I'm going to check to make sure that that 7 is in the tenths. Again, you got to find the ones place, which is the 1 always before the decimal. And if I add on 1 more 0, that is saying tenths. So yes, this one is showing that number. So I'm going to write that down. That is my number I need. Now I'm going to look at the next one. This one is saying a 4 and 92 hundredths. So 4 and then how do I make 92? A 9 and then a 2. and then it needs to be in the hundreds. That last digit needs to be in the hundreds. So this needs to be in the hundreds. So we'll check to see if that's true. Yes, it is. So therefore, this is my number that I'm supposed to add it to. In this case, it needs a placeholder. Make sure you bring down that decimal, and then you can go ahead and add 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 7, 16, carry your 1. This would make it 10 plus 4 is 14, carry your 1. And then this is 2. And that is the answer, 24 and 62 hundredths. All right, next. This one is 1 and 82 hundredths. 82 in the hundredths. So we'll see if this is true. 1 and 82 hundredths. That 2 needs to be in the hundredths place. Let's see if that is true. Yes, it is. So therefore, this is correct. So that is the number. And then we have to add it to 15 and 8 tenths. So 15 and 8 tenths. So again, we're going to see if that 8 is in the tenths. So that would be here. And then here's my ones. And in this case, yes, that is exactly what it's saying. So I'm going to make sure I line up my decimals. I need a 5 and a 1, and then an 8. So therefore, it does not have placeholders. So if I want to fill in those holes with placeholders, I most certainly can. 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 8 is 16, carry your 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So that would be 17 and 62 hundredths. All right, so then if you want more practice, you may certainly do so, but this is not required. Here it says, Tanya measured the growth of a plant each week. The first week, the plant's height measured 2 and 65 hundredths decimeters. During the second week, Tanya's plant grew 7/10 of a decimeter. How tall was Tanya's plant at the end of the second week? So in this case, we would have just have made sure to line up the decimals. So they wanted you to describe that you line up the decimals first. And then you make sure you bring down the decimal, and then you see that there is a placeholder needed underneath the 5. And then you just start from the back, and then you start adding going forward from there. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 7 is 13. So since it's 13, we put the 3 down. We got to carry the 1 onto the 1's side. And 2 plus 1 plus 0 is 3. So therefore, the answer is 3 and 35 hundredths decimeters. Okay. All right. And then the next thing is, says Maggie had $35.13. Then her mom gave her $7.50 for watching her younger brother. She was paid $10.35 for her old roller skates. How much money does she have now? All right, so we're going to take this one step at a time. First of all, it says that she had this to begin with. Okay. Then her mom gave her $7.50 for watching her brother. So if she's giving her money, that means is she actually adding to it, or is she subtracting from this amount? Well, if you're babysitting, you're going to get money. So you are actually going to be adding $7.50 to that. So now you have this plus this. And then she said that then she paid $10.35 for her old roller skates. So she must have like sold it. So she must have sold off her old roller skates. So she's getting paid an additional $10.35. That means she is adding yet again to her amount. So now it says, how much money does she have now? So if I want to do this, I would have to add up all of these numbers. So first I need to make sure I line up all the decimals. So now I'm adding $7.50, and then I add on to that $10.35. All right, so now if you need a placeholder, you may certainly do that. Make sure you bring down the decimal first, and then 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 3 again is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And then 5 plus 7 is 12. Then we carry our 1. 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. So therefore, how much money does she have now? She has $52.98. All right, so now I'm going to move on to the next part, which is another story problem. All right, so it says a city receives an average rainfall of 16 and 9,900 centimeters in August. 1 year during the month of August, it rained 8 and 3,300 centimeters by August 15th. Then it rained another 4 and 6,500 centimeters through the end of the month. What was the total rainfall in centimeters for that month? All right, so keep in mind, it says, what do you need to find? Well, you need to find the total rainfall. So I'm going to write total rainfall. Then it says, what information were you given? Well, first it received its average rainfall, which is 16 and 9,900 centimeters in August. Then during the month, it actually then rained even more. It rained, and it, oh, hold on. It says 1 year during the month of August, it rained this much by August 15th. Then it rained this much at the end. Okay, so sorry guys. It's saying that this was what it did for the entire month. This was for the first half and this was the second half. So this is just an average. So actually, this is what average it is, but it says what was the total rainfall in centimeters for the month. So actually, this was not necessary to know because that had nothing to do with what rained that day, that month. This is just an average of what usually happens. But it didn't say that that's what happened this time. It said what happened in this particular year was the first half, it was this much, and the second half was this much. So therefore, to find out how much that was rain in total, then you add that. So it says, how will you use addition to find the total number of centimeters that fell, of rain that fell? Well, you would just add this part. This part, the average part, had nothing to do with this particular year. So first we got to add these, bring down your decimal. That would be, and 8 and 9, and then this would be 12. So therefore, the answer to this was 12 and 9,800 centimeters. Okay, I want you to try this one on your own. So please pause this and try that on your own. All right, so if you did do it on your own, you should have added these two. So if you lined up the decimals and you added, it would have been 5 plus 2 is 7, 9 plus 2 is 11. So you put the 1 down, carry your 1, and then you have 3 wholes. So your answer would have been 3 and 17/100. Okay, and then we are going to be doing the next part. Again, don't worry about the estimation. If you want to estimate, I'm not going to tell you can't. You most certainly can. However, I'm just not going to be grading that part. So we are just going to just find the sum. So finding the sum, which is, again, the sum means answer to an addition problem. All right, so here we go. First thing that I want you to do is bring down your decimal. Now, if it's too small for you to write, you may most certainly off to the side, rewrite it, and make sure you line up the decimals again and bring down the decimal. So now it is 3 plus 1 is 4, 5 plus 2 is 7, and then 6 plus 4 is 10. So your answer to this one was 10 and 74 hundredths. Now, I want you to do number 3, find the sum, find just the sum of number 4. Remember, if there is any carrying that needs to be done, please show that within your work. If it needs to be a placeholder, please put that in as well. All right, so then also you have 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. You're going to cross out 11. However, we're going to do these two together right now. So first thing that I want you to do is always make sure you line up the decimals when you are adding. So the decimals right here. So what is before it is a 4. What is after it? It is a 4. Then we add. There needs no placeholder, so I can just bring down my decimal before I add. Now 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry your 1. Then this 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. So this is 11 and 2 hundredths. Sorry, 2 tenths. All right, next one, I'm going to now look at this. Again, my first step is to make sure I line up the decimals. Then make sure you bring down the decimal. So I better say that. Line decimals up. And then bring down. Bring down the decimal. Then you may add after that. So don't forget to bring down that decimal. So many people forget to bring down that decimal at the beginning and then they forget totally about it. So 8 plus 7 is 15, carry your 1. 8 plus 2 is 10. So I'm going to put the 0 down, carry my 1. Now this is 7 plus 5. That is 12. So therefore this is your answer for that. And so then you have the rest of that page to do. And then on the back, you will have all 6 of these. And then you are done with homework for 3.8. And then you can also submit that to me by pictures of both the front and the back. So there you go. There's 3.8. All right, guys. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.